What's happening, people? Dan Lawless here, back with another video. This time something a bit different. This is going to be more of a rant. Before I get into that, if you guys could remember to subscribe, give this a thumbs up and leave a comment on what your opinion is, that would really help us out. So cheers for that. Anyway, getting into it, as many of you may know, Mark Noble got injured in the friendly against Werder Bremen early on, going off for Pedro Obiang, which is a blow to West Ham. It's a real shame. But not every fan seems to think that. In fact, some fans, on Twitter mainly, and on other social media, have been celebrating the fact that Mark Noble's injured, and in fact, hoping that he's out for a long period of time, so we don't have to play him. Basically, that's where they're coming from. Which is, I don't even have words for it, but I'm going to try and find the words, and it is disgraceful. It's absolutely disgusting for anyone to sit there and celebrate the fact that our captain's getting injured. Mark Noble is Mr. West Ham. He's a fan of this club. He's been here since he was a kid. He's our captain. He gives 100% for the shirt. And for fans to sit there and hope that he stays out injured for a long period of time is just disgusting. And this is the thing, and this is just the hypocrisy of fans, right? This is one of the things that really winds me up, is they sit there and they talk about player loyalty, and players aren't loyalty, and Payet, you know, bitched and whined about Payet leaving and he's a snake and all of this sort of stuff. At the same time, are not willing to show the same loyalty and respect to our players, and players that have stuck with us through thick and thin. There were that time when we got relegated, Noble could have stayed in the Premiership, or Premier League. He could have found a club, but he didn't. He stayed with West Ham. He stayed with West Ham like for all this time. He's a one-club man. He just had his testimonial recently, like a couple of years ago, and now, for some reason, he's the thing that's holding us back. For some reason, Mark Noble. If Mark Noble's not in the squad, we're this top club that compete for top 6. Well, the stats don't really back that up, do they? Gio from Hammer's chat sent me a very interesting stat that game against Burnley at the end of the season that we won was the first game we won without Noble starting in 883 days. Now that's nearly 3 years. So this idea that Noble's holding the team back and he's shit and all of that obviously doesn't ring true. We obviously miss him when he doesn't play. That's clear to see. That's a very, very interesting stat. So thanks, Gio, for that. And that tells you everything you need to know, really. And this is another part, is the fickleness of fans as well, which that leads on to, right? If you remember in that farewell Boleyn season, how many fans were singing Noble for England, or too good for England, in fact, right? Because everyone was saying that he should be playing for England. He had a great season that season, but guess what? So did West Ham in general. So the whole team had a great season. Now these same fans, off the back of last season, are saying, get him out. He's not good enough for the Premier League. He's not good enough for West Ham. After we had a shit season. You know what? Noble had a shit season, and so did the whole team. The whole team had a shit season. Do you get it? Like, it's not just because of Noble. You can't just pick out Noble and say, yeah, because of Noble we're shit. No, the whole team is shit. There's so many elements into it that's not just as simplistic as, because that player's playing, we're not as good as we could be. And here's the thing, like, everyone was saying, get him out, Obiang and Kiarte together. Obiang and Kiarte together was like wanking over the idea of this partnership. And when we had that partnership, when we put them two together, what happened? We were still shit. We didn't win. It didn't work. They didn't work together. It didn't fit. So this idea of, you know, Noble stopping us playing this amazing pair obviously didn't come into fruition. And I think that Obiang and Kiarte could work together at some point down the line. But, you know, the solution isn't that, oh, Mark Noble's holding the team back. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying Noble's perfect, he can't be dropped, he must be played every single game. I'm not saying that. If he's underperforming, yes, he should be dropped, like any player. You know, but to wish that he'd get injured so he does get dropped is a disgrace. Noble is a good player, and he's a good leader, and he's a good captain. Now, you can't take that away from him. And all the players have said how great a captain he is. He has helped so all our new signings settle straight into West Ham, and they've settled quickly because of him. Because he takes them out, he puts his arm around them, and he builds that camaraderie. I just don't understand as well just how any of our fans can think that Noble is shit. I don't understand it. I mean, he's been picked by 6 different managers at this club. So it's not just, oh, Billick has a love for Noble. 6 different managers have picked Noble. Another thing about last season, right? Not only did we only win 1 Premier League game without him starting for the team, but he played a lot of that season with a hernia. A hernia. You know how painful that must have been for him. And he went out on that pitch with this hernia and gave 100% every time. And, not to forget, put in that amazing shift at the Spurs home game, which I don't think we would have won without Noble in that squad. He was unbelievable. And he always gets right up for it for a derby. He knows exactly what it means. But to do it with a hernia is unbelievable. And the fact that he played with this injury until he was sure West Ham was safe tells you everything you need to know about the man. Yes, he's not the most skillful player. You know, a lot of what he does, it doesn't really stand out. You know, like Kouyaté, where he may make a bursting run or something like that. Or Obiang, where he'll have a smashing shot, you know, from outside the box and things like that. But he is probably one of our best, if not the best, passer of the ball that we have. And yeah, some people will say, oh, he passes it sideways. He's keeping possession. He's making the smart, simple pass. You know, it's one thing if you want to say, oh, pass it forward, and we lose possession, then you get on his back anyway. Like I said, he's not perfect, but he's not shit. And even if he was, I still would not wish him injured. I don't wish any of our players injury. You know, I don't sit there and at the start, and this is another thing that sort of wound me up last season. It's just this mentality of booing the players, this negative attitude to the players that I saw last season. Like Kaleri would come on. Now we all know Kaleri was shit for us, and he'd come on and you'd go, oh god. But at the same time, I wouldn't boo him. If a player is coming on the pitch to play for your club, what do you think booing him is going to achieve? Do you think that's going to make him play better? Do you think getting on a player's back is going to bring out the best of them? No, it's not, is it? But we should be getting behind the players. Why would any player want to play for a club where if you're having a couple of bad games, all of a sudden fans are wishing injury on you? It's the worst fucking mentality, and that's not what West Ham's about at all. That's not what this club's about. You know, imagine if Billy Bonds was still playing today, these same people would have given Billy Bonds that same stick. You know, Nolan got it. Nolan got some disgusting abuse. You know, and let's face it, the manager picked him and he went out and he gave his best on the pitch. Now his best weren't good enough, but you know what I mean? If the manager picks you, you're going to go out and you're going to play and give it all you can. And fans just gave him a torrent of abuse and booed him, and it's just, it's not on. It's not on. Get behind the players. This season, let's get behind the team. Give them all our support, especially at home, where it's needed. From the first whistle, sing your heart out until the final whistle. But at the end of the day, like I'll listen to anyone's opinion, even if it's different to mine, if you don't agree with me. But the people that are wishing Noble to be injured, and hopefully he stays out injured for a long time, their opinion is worthless to me. You know, I do not take that opinion on board, because that is just ridiculous. So that's all I'm going to say. Sorry if I went on a bit, I just had to get that off my chest. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should be an interesting debate. Got a lot of other videos coming up. I'm going to try and do a transfer update, and we've got all sorts coming up. Next season is going to be a big season for us. We're going to take this channel to the next level. Also, I've done a quick 2-minute review of the Werder Bremen game that you can see. Click the link and follow that on Full-Time Reaction, so watch that. But subscribe, all of that stuff. Speedy recovery, Noble, and come on you Irons.